to underline, we are not rubber stamp for anybody. We are independent individuals who come and sit in this committee with the interest of this country at heart. We do not, when we sit in a committee, we become apolitical. We are not affiliated to any side of the political divide. And therefore, we do not let ourselves be driven by anybody. And that's where we will sit there as a witness giving us evidence. We consider it with its merit, and we make a decision. And as has been pointed out, our decision is not final. The report that we'll come out with will be subject to discussion on the House by 67 members, and therefore we will be doing the committee a very great disservice if we do not produce a report that can stand the test of time. So if you're invited in any committee, this one or any other, know that we have a bigger responsibility ensuring that we do service to our colleagues by producing a document that can withstand the test of time. Thank you, Chair.
Can I comment?
Let the incoming chair interim chair give his opinion.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. Governor, I'm just concerned about a few things. In as much as you indicate that you're ready to proceed, you had indicated discomfort about certain questions that you have not referred to and that we do not know. I do not know whether now you take the view that you will be prepared to respond to any question that the members of the committee shall pose to you. Because if you say we proceed, then we will go the whole hog till the end. I think that's just a point that I need you to clarify, that once the chair steps out and I take the chair, as I shall, then now you are ready to proceed, and that now you are no longer dealing with, now the chair will now sit away as a Bukusuman and we can now proceed.
Yeah, then immediately the chair leaves the chair, I become governor.
No longer a Bukusuman.
But of course I'll have discomfort, which I will not necessarily share if I see the same question I was given as a leakage here, because I'm told they were prepared somewhere. I don't want to discuss them. And you proceed. But I was given this question because I was told this entire exercise is a lynching exercise. I've come here to be prosecuted, to be persecuted, and this question, there is a command center in Bungoma that has come up with this question that are outside the issues that have been raised here. That's the only concern, but I'm ready to proceed.
The incoming chair, I want to, because of time, as a senior counsel, I trust your wisdom to defend the innocent and the guilty. I want to take a neutral position and proceed as an active member of this committee. Thank you.
So we'll dive, thank you, Chair. We will dive right in, as Chair of the Commission now, we'll dive right into the issues. Governor, I invite you to introduce your team. Have you done that?
I've done that.
Yes.
No,
Now,
that.
proceed to table the documents that you have.
I have a report here on all the issues raised, plus supporting documents in terms of appendices.
Honorable Chair.
Just confirming if you've tabled the documents, if they are all signed, just to confirm. Governor, the documents.
The document is not signed.
You need to sign it.
Yes.
Please proceed.
Just confirm if it's all duly signed. You could sign one copy so that you table that one, so that then you can proceed to present it. Yeah. just have the signed copy. You could go through, just take us through the documents that you've tabled so that we have it on record.
So we go issue by issue, starting on page 2. I don't have to go into the introduction, just the background. So the first issue is report on the procurement and tendering for maize seed. The issue was when and how the tender was advertised. The tender was advertised on Monday, 27th January 2025, through page 2 of the Daily Nation for the supply and delivery of hybrid maize seed under tender number 170-6296 of 2024-2025 as Pandex 1, which is on page 6. Additionally, the tender notice was published on the official Transoya account website, www.transoya.go.ke, the suppliers portal, www.supplier.treasury.go.ke, the government tenders portal, www.tenders.go.ke, and the County Public Service Board. 2, the list of companies or entities that submitted bids for the tender. Number 1 was Kenya Seed Company Limited of PO Box 553, 3200 Kitale. Relief Line Kenya Limited of PO Box 25914, 100 Nairobi. And Western Seed Company of PO Box 1022, 3200 Kitale. Number C, the evaluation and awarding criteria outlined in the tender documents. The evaluation, which was at 3 stages, the preliminary, technical evaluation, and financial evaluation, and awarding criteria was as contained in the tender document, indicating the actual scores as per the attached Appendix 2, which is on page 8. Question 4, quantity of maize seed procured and the unit cost per bundle, and whether the cost was aligned to the prevailing market rates at the time of procurement. 256,029 packets of 2 kg each. 1 kg at the unit price of Kenya shillings 210. 2 kg at a unit price of Kenya shillings 420. A bundle has 12 packets of 2 kilograms costing 5,040 Kenya shillings per bundle. Note, based on the approved budget and market price, the initial quantity that was to be procured was 145,700 at a cost of 690. This was based on the market survey. You have to go to the market with the price as per Appendix 3 on page 23, requisition form. However, the Ministry of Agriculture circular reference number MOA/LCD/9/16/7, which revised the Kenya Seed Company pricing to Kenya shillings 420 per 2 kg packet, as documented in Appendix 4 on page 28, enabled the department to procure 256,029 packets out of estimated targeted population of 400,000 poor small-scale farmers, as per Akipra 2024. Number 5, criteria for identification and vetting of the beneficiaries, including the total number of packets of maize seed allocated to each beneficiary. Eligibility criteria. These must be small-scale farmers, small-scale land owners of 0.2 acres or less who are poor. Another category of widows, the youth, the elderly, persons living with disabilities, women or resource poor individuals. The selection of beneficiaries was conducted through a thorough vetting process by a designated ward selection committees. The county executive committee member is the appointing authority of the vetting committees as per the Trans Nzoia County Crop Agriculture Act 2021, Rules 9, which is Appendix 5 on page 30. The vetting criteria adopted the guidelines developed from Clause 10 of the Crops Act, that's Appendix 6 on page 34. Each beneficiary was allocated 1 packet of 2 kg certified hybrid seed maize. Number 6, the mode of communication with the public and how the distribution was undertaken in the county. The public was informed through multiple channels, the usual one that we use, including the ward planning committees, which comprise of ward administrator, ward agricultural officer, area chief, a representative of the area member of the county assembly, representatives of youths, representative of persons with disabilities, and representative of women. Distribution of notification letters to ward administrators, chiefs and village elders, use of public address systems, social media platforms, and public posters. How were the distributions undertaken in the county? Venues were identified per ward as per the attached schedule, Appendix 7 on page 39. The distribution was done publicly at the identified venues. And as the chairman, I want to confirm that I attended all the distribution activities in all the 25 wards. Some had 2 venues, others had 1, but I was personally present in all of them. So that's our report. The rest are supporting documents.
Is that all? Do you want to cede way to your CCM Agriculture to say anything or to add anything?
Unless you have something to add, that was the report from the counter. And maybe if there are any issues to be raised, then we'll respond.
So you are prepared for questions. Members, just for some direction, Governor, if we ask you questions and should you want to consult or ask your CCM to respond, you'll ask for leave so that they can then respond to the question. Now, just some housekeeping issues. I want you to refer to page 10, page 13, page 16, and 18. Go to page 10. Members, go to page 10. I don't know whether all of you are able to read, whether your page 10s are legible. Maybe you can. Page 10. You can go to page 10 that has the list of the score sheet. What is the date of page 10? Governor, just page 10. We cannot clearly see. Is there a date for at page 10?
It's 10th. 3rd of February. 3rd of February, 2025.
Well, where is the 3rd of February? That's that or 3rd of, up on the part of the date.
Just before farms. That is at this point. It's the date.
They're different. Some are not ready. What about page 13? We'll go to page 13 again, the one that is also not very clear. 13 was not, is not, some of them are not numbered. I don't know whether you have page 13. And page 16 as well. 16 again is not very clear. I think it's the same document.
Yeah. We agree.
And page 17 and 18 as well.
Yeah.
documents that were written by hand, actually for so many of them.
They become unclear. The team should make better copies next time. Now, so Governor, you have presented, you have indicated the supply chain and how the procurement process was undertaken. I would ask members to dive right to questions. I will start with Mr. Abbas.
Thank you, Chair.
Senator Abbas, proceed.
For one, I think I will ask, maybe through your Chair, about whether the Governor can be able to present something readable, that's eligible to be seen, that can be seen. Because these are very important documents. So you can have original copies or whatever, however you do it. I'll request for copies. So, okay, my question is, Honorable Speaker, sorry, Governor. You know, in line with Section 104(1) of County Government Act 265, can you confirm the document series was part of the approval plans or part of the budget? Do you have approval?
I can confirm, Chair, that we had a budget for the seat. It was captured even in our procurement plan.
You have a copy of that plan?
You have it?
Governor, have you shared that document with your response?
No. It was not part of the queries.
So are you able to avail the document?
Yes, we have. We have the document.
Senator is referring to.
Actually, I'm told it's attached. Which page? Page 40. On page 40.
On the same spot.
Yes.
Proceed, Senator.
Page 40. Approved development budget estimates for financial year 2024-2025.
The problem is that your responses are not numbered. There's no numbering. There's no numbering of the documents that I have. What I have does not have, is not paginated.
Time, Chair, the time. We can't have a perfect document because of the shortness of time.
Page 40.
Development budget.
Yes. Under 311301, purchase of certified crop seed. It's 100,503,121.
So was this thing approved by the Assembly?
Definitely. It was.
Do you have the approvals by the Assembly? Do you have evidence of approval by the Assembly? Now that I think is a question you need to complete.
Yes, you know, once the Assembly approves the budget, it's going to be for assent. So really, if a copy is required, I can get it from my office.
Yes, it's important because that's an important question.
Because the budget is there, the approved budget is there, we can provide it.
Yes, I think that's important for your department to ensure that
It's provided.
it's available for purposes of responding to that question comprehensively. Okay. Senator Abbas, any other question?
No, good.
Senator Ngoma?
Now, you have clearly indicated that it was budgeted for.
Yes.
I want to find out from your office if there is a clear inventory after the supply of these seats, if there is an inventory of who received them, how they were kept, and by the time of distribution, if there is any documentation to that effect. So that we can be able to know that they truly supplied what has been given to us today.
Honorable Senator, the inventory is there of what was procured and received and how it was distributed.
Do you have copies of the delivery, whoever delivered, who received and who was issuing the seeds as they were going to the field? The documentation part of it.
We have the documentation.
Please.
Which page is it? S13 for receiving.
Again, there is no pagination. I need to know, can you share that actual page, because we don't have...
This one is a bulk document. It's not contained in the report. The file is here.
So does that file have a list of beneficiaries and a list of deliveries, word by word?
Chair, what we have is a list of S13s. These are documents that you issue when you receive supplies. That have received this quantity of supplies you receive with that. And then now you issue with an S11. We have them here. Now the person who receives with that S11 is the one who generates the distribution list, and it is there. All that chain is there. We can provide it.
So Governor, you're saying that you have a list of all the beneficiaries
But what?
who received their seeds per ward.
Yes.
Do you have it here? Can you table the entire set of documents? Can you table that?
We have it. They can go and get it.
Can they? Because we need it tabled, because that is...
Honorable Chair, before he leaves, you know, we were talking about whoever received the seeds from the company or the tender, and whoever was issuing the seeds from the warehouse, because they were specific based on your research. If it was going to Kaplamai, there is a form that was filled by the person in charge going to the specific ward, so that we escalate from the person in charge to the ward. Thank you, Chair.
So
If they have it, we'll be glad to have them.
That information is there.
So how long do you need to bring that information? It's important to tell. So I assume that then you have the list that will indicate the dates when seeds were taken, for instance, to Machewa, Virunda, Kashudi, Sabata, Mbai, Mbao, with the numbers, with the specific numbers. Namwichula, Halwenge, all those places.
We have all of them.
A distribution chain.
It's here. We have. Of course, there are 25. There are 25 files.
Yes.
Because I've got 25 wards, and some wards have got more like 2-3 files because there are 2-3 venues.
So do you need time? Do you want to table them now, or do you need how much time do you need to bring those documents?
They're just in the vehicle. They can be brought.
Yes, I think let them be brought then.
You know, the problem is we are not told the required documents. You look at the questions, Chair. So that's fairly straightforward. This information, this information, this information. But now these particular details, you know, if we're told now come with this and this and this, we'll not be having this, we'll be having all this information.
So let him avail those documents as we proceed. Senator, any other question?
Maybe, Chair.
Yes, Senator Abbas.
You see, was there a public consultation when they distributing the seats? What criteria do you use? Are you give it to everybody, or you give it to specific farmers?
As I said,
Are you doing groups?
No. We use the poverty index to identify the number of eligible people for this seat in Tanzania. One of our guiding principles was that we'll give farmers who have a maximum of 0.2 acres. We call them Poidimbili. The 2 kgs of maize seed would comfortably be planted on 0.2. So prior to the distribution of these seeds, we had identified the would-be beneficiaries, and the numbers were huge. Because some places we get around 10,000 people, 15,000 people. When we issue this seed, and outside I would think it's a very chaotic assignment, but they don't know that a lot of planning has gone into it. We know our people. We know who is eligible, and we know who is not eligible. So it was not just like you call a random distributed seat. That's why we've got a list of beneficiaries.
Governor, just on that question, I think it's good to clarify. Where did you get the poverty index for Trans Nzoia? Because there's none.
Kipra.
Because there's none. Where do you get disaggregated to the wards? How do you determine poor people in Trans Nzoia? And does it mean that if you own half an acre or 0.2 acres, as you say, then you are poor? Because there are people who own half an acre and are richer than those who own 10 acres.
Mr. Chairman, those of us who grew in the village, you don't need that to know a poor person. But there are people who think that poverty is an academic exercise. So you engage in those kind of arguments. But a person who is poor, you go to the village, you just this person is poor. And that's what I'm talking about. A person having 0.2 acres of land, and he has got 10 children, he has got a wife, he's about to share that same piece of land with the children who are married. You know, poverty out there doesn't need indicators, academic indicators. They just live, it's known. I feel like it's talking about 38% poverty index, but you look at other authorities, again they talk of 60%. So basically, like every little small scale farmer in Trans Nzoia is poor. If it were for me, I wouldn't even do targeting, and if I had money, I'd just buy it and distribute to everyone.
Governor, I'm asking this because I personally distribute seed. I buy and distribute.
I'm sure you struggle with means testing, even the way she struggled with means testing.
Except the money from my pocket. But let me answer the question.
Yes.
What was the threshold of poverty that your team used in seed distribution? Or did you involve, I think it's talking about public works, did you involve the ward administrators and other levels of administration to identify people who are poor?
There is a criteria that is contained, it's on page 4. I read it. The criteria is there, eligibility criteria.
Through the chair, I'm looking at the criteria and the good minister is here. It says, your report, selection of beneficiaries was conducted through a thorough vetting process by designated ward selection committees. If I stop at that and ask through the governor, do you have minutes of the planning as a minister, the planning for the distribution of those seats at the county level, the minutes of that thing? And then escalate that to the minutes of formalizing or formulating these committees which you are in charge to formulate. And where were they done? And at what time? And then we proceed from that. When did you officially appoint these people? And that now comes to the question. Where, Governor, when you are talking us through that, it was announced in various platforms. I'd like to see if you have copies of notification to the chiefs that you have indicated, to the ward administrators as you've indicated, to the representatives of the county assembly like my good friend who is here. If we can get those notices of notification that this is the process that's going to be done. We have those minutes and that through the governor.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, proceed, the governor, proceed.
Mr. Chair, we appear to be addressing issues we do not know. What is the issue? Are we saying that we don't distribute seed? Are we saying that we gave to the wrong people? Are we saying that we didn't buy seed? Because we need to know what the issue is. What is the issue that we are responding to? When we look at our individual, these are just general statements. But when we go into the specifics, was there a complaint? what is the issue, so that we really know the background, so that we respond when we talk about. Because what the member is talking about, it gives the employers a set way of distributing maize seed in Kenya. So you must have this committee, you must have this one. What authority is it quoting? But we need to know what the issue is, what are the issues.
Through the chair, let me just go through this. Page 4 of the submissions of eligibility criteria. Small scale landowners who are poor, widows, youth, persons with disability, and all that. Selection of beneficiaries was conducted through vetting process by designated ward selection committees.
Yes.
So the question I asked for the first time is, where are the minutes of these ward selection committees as they were doing the vetting exercise? That is my point number 1.
Let us note that one.
I proceed.
What the minutes of what committees?
The ward selection committees.
Yes.
And if the vetting was done, the minutes must indicate those people they vetted. Because it must translate into the list of beneficiaries of the seeds that you procured. Okay? And I've equally asked good Waziri to give us, if she has the minutes, because you have the authority, the first meeting of planning for the distribution of these seeds to the ward, if you have those minutes, so that it cascades down to the beneficiary of the seeds.
Through the chair, yes, we do.
Proceed. Do you have them? You can table them.
The minutes of what selection committees? Which files?
They were appointed by the CCM.
Yes.
Yes, so let's have the minutes of their proceedings so that we then can identify those beneficiaries. I'm sure they did. And Governor, you're asking, what are we looking for? We are not looking for anything. We are doing oversight over your processes as by the mandate of this committee. So I don't think we should be worried. And just to are you have another question? Governor, Mr. Bass, Senator, do you have any other question?
The line is absolutely on the same line. Honorable Speaker, Governor, you know, when you are distributing this kind of foods, seeds, and every vote, there must be a part of policy where the receiving people, you have some evidence of where you have delivered, were there photos or anything that what process where you met?
We have. Chair, we have got all that information. And I said the documents we have are valid because the committees are per ward, and we have got 25 of them. We have all the information here for all the wards, the minutes, the list of beneficiaries per ward we have. And we are going to tap on all of them.
Governor,
if you check on your page 53,
proceed.
You look at page 3, it's appointment. This is how appointments were done. To ward.
Sorry, which page?
5.3. That's an example of one guy who was appointed and later failed. My then, MCS representative. This was on the 17th of July 2024. Chair, if you can allow to read the appointment letter.
Proceed.
Like now this appointment letter,
Proceed.
appointment to what subcon for subcon committee for scheduled crop Fukuza Nja initiative. The county government of Trans Nzoia Department of Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, Fisheries and Corporate Development is implementing the Fukuza Nja initiative. The program is aimed at promoting food security in the county by promoting adoption and use of certified maize seeds by small-scale farmers. The program involves identification of beneficiaries, training of farmers, distribution of certified maize seed, and monitoring and evaluation. The purpose of this letter is to communicate the decision to appoint you as a ward-level committee member for Fukuza Nja initiative for a period of 1 year from the date of this appointment. Your duty shall be to attend Fukuza Nja initiative ward-level committee meetings, help in identification and vetting of beneficiaries in accordance with the set out guidelines, conduct regular monitoring and evaluation, give reports on the progress of the agricultural programs in your ward. I wish you well as you advance services for this great county. This letter is signed by Arthur Fanis Naliaka, the County Executive Committee member for Agriculture. And then on the next page, page 5, there's a sample of the minutes. When the meetings were held, you can go through and see what it talks about. And this applies to all the wards. And we're going to supply appointment letters for all the members, the committee minutes, and distribution lists for the beneficiaries, because we have all of them.
Yes, Senator.
Chair, through you, I think, as the governor had mentioned earlier before, that the 7 days was not enough for him to organize documents, more documents that you might have needed. Maybe for the documents that are not present, if, I'm just praying if the governor can be given time to table those documents.
Yes, he has not said whether he has the minutes of all the 25 wards, or the 25 committees that were appointed.
We have.
And if he has all the list of all the beneficiaries.
We have.
And you have all details, all bank statements that paid Kenya seed that was procured.
Yes.
And you have all the details, all those who got the IDs, you have all those.
All that.
And
you can even have a sample.
And you might even say you've also brought them.
If needed, they can be brought.
I will request through the chair that even the list, samples of the list of beneficiaries should be forwarded.
Yes, even the list of beneficiaries.
It's not a sample. It's a complete list.
The
actual list of the beneficiaries.
It's very encouraging to have the entire list. We'll need those lists presented.
Yes. So the governor, you'll present them now, or will you ask for time?
We need copies of the lists or originals.
We need the original list because we need copy. We need to have them presented as per the.
Because now we are having
legible documents.
We are having an annual audit.
Yes.
That just started last week.
Sir, I think I'll advise eligible.
And I'm sure they're going to require this.
This one is not eligible actually. This one is actually not a proper.
It should be legible, yeah, because we need to have legible documents so that we don't come around. Because we look at, as long as they're properly marked.
Chair, I would request that you give us a list of all the documents that you need, so that when you go back to Kitale, we just prepare all bundles and have them delivered here.
Yes, Mr. Senator Abbas.
Yes, Chair, I think, as you rightly said, the Chair, like the Governor said, the Secretary can write all those things, all the articles that you require, or they can agree it, especially with the short time. One other question I have is that, Honorable Governor, what is your long-term plan for SIP? Because now that you have this program, one day we think, and you cannot be able to be spending a lot of money on this, spending 100 million shillings, right? And what is your plan for seed banking and field questions. Do you have a land for seed banking?
Chair, when county government decides to buy seed for farmers, and it generates a lot of excitement among the farmers, it goes to explain the level of poverty among the people, especially food poverty. We've given ourselves another maybe 2 years, because even now it's a lot of progress, a lot of improvement. There's a lot of food security at the household level now. Actually, we are planning to do a bit of also subsidizing fertilizer, so that we really produce enough food. So once we are satisfied that our farmers can really now produce food and therefore start engaging in other economic activities, we're going to stop this, because even tokenism doesn't really last. It appears to be tokenism really, but we're just helping farmers. So once they're stable and they can stand on their own 2 feet, they can go to the shop and buy their own seed. We'll be good to go.
And now that you're talking about sustainability, it's important, just a follow-up question. Did you follow up, did your CCM and team follow up to find out, 1, whether the seeds germinated, 2, whether they are ready in the field, and 3, whether there are proper follow-up mechanisms that you intend to, as it were, M&D, whether you want to be following up this program as a continuous program of the county, or was it just a one-off?
It's not a one-off program, because you can't fight poverty in just 1 year. So it's a long-term program. Actually, we're going to focus on this for my first time in office, this past 5 years. Provision of seed is going to be key. But Chair, I want to beg you, because you guys are Mchakorogewa, Nairobi, why can't you find time and come to Kitale? Just come to Trans Nzoia.
You want us to visit the farms?
Please.
Governor?
Please, I can even facilitate it. Just come to the ground. Sort of talking an academic exercise just being done somewhere. Just come and see for yourself, especially now. Just come. Because we're looking at if this something just happened somewhere in the air, the beneficiaries are not there, Kenya seed maybe is not there. Please come to the ground.
Sure.
Yes, Senator.
I think I want to tell the governor that the Senate has enough money to go to the field. I cannot be presented. We don't need presentation. However, it's good to go visit the place to see at least how farmers appreciate the program.
Governor, under Standing Order 228, we are well resourced, so we can arrange, this committee can determine the mode of conducting its proceedings. We can decide after hearing you and after going through all these voluminous documents to visit, to actually come and see some of the farms. I have noted that in some pages, I think there are people who signed for others. I've seen, for instance, this is Nabiswa. Nabiswa, I can see that Pauline Nasimiyu Kutuhulu and Alubina Naliaka Simiyu have the same ID number. They are both widows and they have the same signature, for instance. So these are the concerns which you may not know and which the CCM may not even know. And that brings me to the question. Was this program foolproof? Can you speak for this program? Or are there people who receive seeds for other people, or people who are not poor who came in and received seeds for other people?
Chair, the standards that you are holding me to, you can't even hold yourselves to.
No, my list of no double signatures.
Because really you can get one person maybe getting to, those things we must make a provision for them. One person can sign for the other, really it happens. But if you want to come to Trans Nzoia, don't take too much time, because this maize is not just stagnant, it's growing. You come around October, you find no maize. We never harvested. So please come in this month of June, July, and even just see the beauty of Trans Nzoia in terms of maize. The plantations of small-scale farmers, but it may look like just like plantations, but they're different, only by different small-scale farmers.
Through the chair. Number 4 of the submissions on, not near page number 4 on the eligibility. The acreage was there, widow, elderly persons with disability, resource poor individual selection here. That is page 4. Now I want us to go to page 53. The minutes that we just read them. And look at what was introduced. And then that one will inform us to ask a question which I'll bring later. The chair gave out guidelines and criteria to be used for those to benefit from seed maize as follows. 1 should be a resident of Saboti Ward.
Which page?
Mine reads 53. Mine reads 53.
The fourth.
Yes, so the governor's submission.
53.
Yes, page 53. Mine is 53. I think we have an issue with the numbering. Are we all there? So the minute says, the chair gave out guidelines and criteria to be used for those to benefit from seed maize as follows. Should be a resident of Saboti Ward, at least have 0.1 of an acre of land, should either be of the above persons, should be one who can acquire fertilizer for the farm. Now, when the minister was giving directions up here, there was no criteria that they should acquire fertilizer to the farm. Because a poor person without the capacity cannot be able to buy. Then it brings me to my other question. In the financial preparation of planning, was there any money set aside for fertilizer, subsidy fertilizer for the farmers? And if so, how was it used? And how were the beneficiaries found? Thank you.
Yes, Governor.
Chair, before the governor responds.
There are too many questions.
The governor, hold on before Senator.
Yes, I am chairing another ICT committee.
Yes.
Just begging to step out.
So, Senator, do you have any remarks or any questions or any clarification you need from the governor before you leave? So you can take up that question together with.
No, Chair, I think I am just a friend of the committee, and I believe the committee has their own mandates. So I think I was just begging for, as I was saying, I was just begging for, of course, fairness in whatever is being prosecuted. But I thank you.
Senator, I hear you to say that we are fair in our proceedings and that you're happy with the proceedings. Thank you. We are very fair. The Senator is agreeing, we are very fair.
Let me go on record and say I acknowledge you're very fair.
Yes, that's our DNA. Governor, proceed.
The criteria, the first criteria is talking about 0.1. I want to believe it's a typo. Because the criteria is very clear and it's done through a circular. 2 kg.
Excuse me, Governor. Now that you've mentioned about a circular, can Waziri provide that circular that she delivered to the ward administrators and the ward agricultural officers? That circular in particular.
Yes, I'll supply it in a few.
Please proceed.
Thank you.
So, in terms of your fertilizer can also be manure. You know, you don't just plant beans. You don't have artificial fertilizer. You can get. How much is it?
I think we are dealing with a very serious matter. That's why I generated the next question. Because here it means they can procure their own fertilizer. And procuring is a process. It's if it were in our culture, then you could have advised them just to walk to the nearby farm if one has no animal. But now my question was specific. This procurement aspect of fertilizer, why did the minister put it here and not on the circular? And I want that circular here.
We're just encouraging farmers that whenever you give your certified seed and you plant it, without fertilizer, you're not going to get the 6 bags of maize that we are telling you. We may get 3, not because the seed was bad, but because we not give it enough nutrients.
Governor.
It's not like just the first rule cast in stone.
My good governor, it is not for the person to feel motivated by that sentence. That's why there was something called public participation and involvement of the chief, the Ikuru, the ward agriculture officer. If it were in their minutes, we will see clearly they being motivated to look for an option to do that. That's why I'm raising this concern and asking our good Waziri, give us the memo that came from your office to guide. And in fact, it now brings me to, do you even have a policy that guides these farm inputs? Yes.
Can we go maybe question by question, because there are many questions at the same time.
You can respond to each
at the same time.
How many do you have? You have about, you can disaggregate. Start with the first one.
You know, we say we are procuring seed for poor people, seed. So you cannot give a condition that we must be able to acquire fertilizer. It's self-defeating. If you cannot buy seed, how can you buy fertilizer? So our focus is seed. And we're talking about seed. That's got nothing to do. This one is a misplaced statement by a chairman. We should be held personally accountable for doing these minutes because no one knows what they were told. It's not a requirement. And Chair, please get it from me because I'm the guest in charge of that county and I know what I'm doing there. I've not made any requirement for fertilizer as a precondition for getting maize seed. It's not there.
The maize can grow in Trans Nzoia without fertilizer.
You can boost it with manure. Yeah, and actually we're moving away from some of these artificial fertilizer like DAP. The national government put 76 million shillings on the budget for fertilizer in Trans Nzoia. It was supposed to be a conditional grant. It was on our budget. We never saw a single cent. If we had gotten that money, we would have been able to supply both seed and fertilizer. And we'll be in a better place. Not be talking about 3 years, be talking about 2 years. To sufficiency of food security at the household level.
So, maybe you can move the next question, the policy question.
Let me just take members through. And I will request now that governors stepped in to say that is an erroneous requirement, that the county government now submits to us the other minutes, and I want to Secretariat, can you check all the other minutes? If that sentence appears on the criteria for the seat. Now, looking at, according to the 2009 county fact sheet democratic data, Trans Nzoia County had a total population of 990,341, with 811 residing in rural areas. Down there, finally, in terms of agricultural engagement, 129 households were involved in crop production, 96,800 households in livestock production, and 6,636 households participated in other farming-related activities. Now, having that statement that either one can procure fertilizer or they can apply manure, from an informed point of view as a ministry, what are the numbers of the poor farmer who has manure based on the latest survey that you've done that can now encourage manure to be applied on 2 kilograms of seed maize?
Governor, did you bother to find out who has manure, or you just gave seed? I think that's the long and short of the question. And then the policy question, respond to the policy question. That was.
You know, Chairman, the problems of the rural farmers are very many. As a county, we are addressing one now, which is seed. We give you seed. If you're going to get artificial fertilizer, get manure and plant with it, so be it. But we have given you seed, go and plant. Because the problem was, they were not even planting certified seed. They'll get this year's harvest, get the best product, put it on some fireside, not be able to dry properly. The following year they plant it, and production is going down, down, down. So we stepped in as government to provide certified seed. All these other things are also important. Fertilizer is important, manure is important. But for us, it's not our main concern. The main concern is to reach as many farmers as possible in terms of certified seed. And we're struggling. This year we did very well because Kenya Seed had previously quoted the price of 690. We did through government intervention, they were able to revise it downward to 420, enabling us to procure almost double. So we reached very many farmers, but not all of them. We want to strive to reach as many farmers as possible, just in terms of certified maize seed first. Then now we'll see as a county if we can now start coming in terms of fertilizer. Even if they just provide maybe 2 kilos or 4 kilos. Because not very many farmers can actually procure fertilizer. Even the subsidy by the government, you will supply fertilizer, you put it in a store, and just 2 farmers, big ones, they'll come and clear everything. One farmer wants to go and pick 1 bag of fertilizer, traveling 20 kilometers, really it's not economical. So that's why it's not just to work.
Sure. Let me ask you a question just to so are you saying that your fertilizer initiative aligns well with the bottom-up transformation initiative?
The seed.
So you are
the seed initiative aligns well with that better.
So you actually ascribe.
I want the national government.
Transformation.
I want the national government to come to Trans-Nzoia and benchmark that indeed is possible, even for this bottom-up economic transformation agenda, to provide even free fertilizer. All counties in the world subsidize farmers.
Which you believe in now.
Sure. Even before reading that blueprint.
Excellent. But now wait again. What is the total acreage that was planted, the seed that you gave? What total acreage was planted under that seed? I think that's an important question.
The crops guy can respond.
Yes.
For the information.
And what is the projected food target? What is the projected production that you as a county expect out of that initiative?
Maybe I want to get
without
before you respond. Chairman, I think I don't know if it's in order for the governor to say that their concerns is only to provide seeds. The concern is food production. You want to enhance food production. So you must be able to know, by the time you give this farmer some seeds, suspect seeds, then you must also have a follow-up on the output. How much food is being produced in that place? Out of the knowledge you have provided, how much food has been produced? And how many acres have been covered? But if you see only your concerns are only to give seeds, that's not right.
No, that you didn't get me right.
Food security is your concern. You want to enhance food security.
Well, you didn't get me right. I said in food production, there are many components.
Yes.
The government now is providing technical input through our extension officers, and we are buying seed for the farmer. If we get adequate resources, we can still provide fertilizer. But we know the number of farmers and the amount of land that they have cultivated this year. We have projections on how much maize could be produced this year. And we have consistently increased the production since we began this program. Production has been growing up every year. I think this year we're projecting 6.2. We are projecting 6.2 million bags of 9 kilograms. Yeah, and Trans-Nzoia, I think is the second largest producer of maize. Yeah.
So, I mean, when did you start this program for the When did you start the program?
This was the 3rd year.
This 3rd year?
Yeah, and every year you can see progress in terms of production.
So, what's the success that you are going to tell us? You have a success story to tell us that from the first year to this year.
Yes. Actually, for the last 3 years, we have added 1 million bags from 5.2 to 6.2 million.
Okay.
Through the chair, I want to appreciate these seats, but I want to ask a very critical question. These are names that I have. The rubber stamps are there. All of them. From the first page, there is no date. Rubber stamps throughout. Very fresh rubber stamps. But there is no date. That is number one. Number two, We've given,
What do you mean fresh?
the ink is as new as Dodo. I can hand over my file to Chair. The rubber stamps are fresh. There are no dates on the rubber stamps.
How does a fresh rubber stamp look like?
Just as it you presented it, Governor.
Chairman, that's why I was
Number
asking.
two,
No, it's okay, it's okay.
it is very clear. You can hand over the file to him.
Governor, I also do not have expertise in freshness. I can only look through my eyes.
My eyes are fresh. I'm young and smart.
So this is not enough.
No,
Let him proceed. Let him
whoever
proceed.
thinks about it knows what he's thinking. Now I'm asking through the chair.
That's the question.
These seeds as we give, I'm getting good projections. Do we have data of how much each farmer harvested? Because we are running into a problem in this country where we are giving farm inputs for free over and over, but no institution is giving us returns and value for the benevolence of the national government or benevolence of the county governments. And we must ensure our farmers are self-sustaining moving forward. Do we have data that Arubina from Machewa got 2 kilos, harvested this, and it's a good projection, tabulated as part of evaluation and reporting?
We have, Chair.
We have that information, but for this session, we are focusing on this year. I can't really give you that information because we are yet to harvest. You have to wait until we harvest, then we'll know how much maize every farmer has harvested from the seed that we've distributed. But if we go backwards, we can give the exact figures. Of course, we can't go to every farmer, but we can do an average and see these farmers have increased their production by this much.
Thank you.
But the data is there. If you want us to avail it, include in the list of documents, give us 1 week, every document will be here.
As I finish, because I'll still come back, why I'm asking that is the national government, using their village elders, they assist government in getting data of those vulnerables to get subsidized fertilizer. And if pushed or asked, they can table results. How many extension services officers are you using to give us feedback? Proceed, Waziri.
Waziri can respond with the permission.